Welcome back to STL Live. I'm Sarah Thompson, and my guest is Boedges, wealth advisor and certified divorce financial advisor. And we're talking about the second Saturday St. Louis workshops that you've started here in St. Louis, and the one coming up, divorce workshop for women. I want to pick back up where we left off after the first segment, which is the way that the workshop has a legal component or area that's covered, the emotional aspect of going through divorce, and then where you come in, the financial aspect. What will people learn from the workshop when it comes under that umbrella of financial?
You know, it's really interesting because that's when the notepads come out. And we talk about what kind of information to gather. And a lot of people don't have a good idea of what they have in terms of their financial assets. And it's the one thing that scares them the most. You know, so we go back to that emotional component of, I'm afraid I'm going to be a bag lady and I don't want to get left behind. So it's calming that fear by encouraging the gathering of the information and giving them ways to find it and ways to get more in the loop and get themselves better educated and more comfortable with the financial assets that they have. And then helping them to figure out, well, how am I going to pay for an attorney? Where is the money going to come from if we're living separately now? How does that look? We talk a lot about some strategies for how to do a financial settlement that makes sense. So there's quite a lot that happens in that section. And I like going last. It makes that lasting impression.
Right. And I think too, it's like once you go through those areas of, okay, this is kind of the legal discussion, you know, obviously there's the most emotional component, but I mean, your livelihood really depends on, I mean, if you had joint checking accounts and now you have to have separate, and how are you going to pay for this? I mean, those are things that really are in that moment so applicable that I imagine.
There's a lot of coaching that goes on in that part of the conversation because as a woman who went through a divorce myself, I was, in fact, I know I did this. I actually threw the towel in, as they say. It's, you get to that point where you're just ready to have the darn thing over with. It's draining physically, emotionally, financially, and you just want it done. So you just say, okay, take whatever you want. That's a huge mistake. And I just tell these people, don't do that. And if you get to that point, even if we're not working together, and even if it's 9 months down the road, please call me so I can call you off the ledge. And so there's a lot of coaching that goes on.
No, and I think that's what's really great about this is you're kind of packaging this all together so that it is accessible and it's something that people can go through with professionals step by step.
We're, you know, always saying create a team. You've got to have a great team around you to make this thing work.
There's something that is probably really important to mention. It's something that people perhaps gloss over, but in coming to the workshop, there is an element of anonymity. You don't have to say in front of a group of people, I'm so-and-so and this is my situation. Talk about that, because I think that's important for people to know that they can come and seek your assistance and advice, participate in this without having to give too much of their own personal information out.
Yeah, I think there's a certain amount of fear of stigma or embarrassment. It's generally a very small group. We very rarely have more than 10, and you're welcome to share as much as you like or not share anything at all. If you want to give us a fictitious name, we don't care. And what happens in that room stays in that room. So, and that's why the workshop is really for women, because I think women would just, they've told me they'd be uncomfortable if there were men in the room. If they're going to cry, they don't want to do that in front of strange men, even though they may not be strange. They're just strangers. So it's really key that we do it that way. But I do want to mention that in February, and I don't have that date, but we are doing the workshop for men and women at St. Louis Community College at Merrimack. So it's in the continuing education catalog there.
Got it. So the one obviously coming up, and we've got that information, is for women only, but they can reach out to you to find about the other ones happening later on in the year. I mean, there's so much we could talk about. Unfortunately, we're out of time. But thank you for coming here and sharing that with information.
Thank you for having me and letting me do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the information there for you on the screen. If there's anything we covered in the interview or did not cover in the interview that you want to reach out to Laura about, you can email her at lboedges@HighTowerAdvisors.com. But better yet, attend one of the workshops at second Saturday, STL.com, where you can go for more information. The one coming up at the first part of this month is Saturday, January 13th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Divorce Workshop for Women, and there's the address for you on the screen, or call 314-598-4068. Well, there's more STL Live right after this. Please stay with us.